December 17th. And the first item on our agenda is prayer, and we'd ask Pastor Collier to lead us in prayer from the Methodist Church. We'd all stand, please.
Lord God, today, because of all that's happened through the weekend, we are so aware of the forces of evil in the world. We want to acknowledge you, though, Lord, is greater than all. We pray that you'd remind us of your love. We pray that this day you'd fill our hearts with your goodness and make us instruments of your peace. And we're praying these things in the name of the Prince of Peace. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, we will say the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would, turn down the ringers on your phones or turn them off. And the first item on our agenda now, our next item, is Linda Williamson with an introduction.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy this morning to introduce Maura Cook, who is Senior Manager of External Affairs for Chrysler Group, LLC. Maura has some other guests with her, and she will introduce those and tell you why they're here this morning. Please welcome Maura Cook. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine this Monday morning. I'm Maura Cook with the External Affairs Group for Chrysler Group, LLC. And with me today is Brian Harlow. He's our Vice President of Operations worldwide for Chrysler, for Powertrain. And we're appearing here today with good news. We have a proposed investment here in Tipton, Indiana. More specifically, the investment includes approximately $162 million worth of machinery and equipment. And we anticipate that our investment will require approximately 850 employees to run the operation. We are really excited about this proposed new project, and we would respectfully request your consideration for tax abatement on our proposed personal property investment and request an abatement for 10 years. I want to thank you for your consideration for this request, and we look forward to a relationship with Tipton and Tipton County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maura. Do we have any other information from Chrysler that you wish to share at this time? And if so, that'd be great.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Again, it's certainly an exciting opportunity for us to be able to request from you an abatement. Not because of the abatement per se, but certainly because our business is doing well. We know what it's like to go through a very difficult period of time, which we did as Chrysler. And wonderfully, our sales continue to grow. Just to put it in some perspective, in the year of bankruptcy, we only sold 1 million vehicles. This year, we're on pace to achieve 2.4 million vehicles. So our growth year over year has been at a very high pace, and we have expectations for that going. Our relationship with Fiat's been outstanding. We have a great CEO in Sergio Marchionne, and all of that I tell you because that's the only reason that we're here today, is because of those situations. Quite frankly, our operations in Kokomo and Howard County have outstripped the capacities that we have there. And what we didn't anticipate, quite frankly, we knew we needed to invest in powertrains to meet our CAFE regulations. CAFE is what we call our corporate average fuel economy. And as you probably see in the papers, see in the news and so forth, the need for us to improve our fuel economy is mandated, literally. It's a very high numbers over the next decade or so. And a very integral part of that is what we do in this region, currently in Kokomo, where we make our transmissions. And it's important for us to continue to grow that business, and more importantly, to invest in the technology that will help us achieve the fuel economy that we must. So in the process of all that, as our sales and current products have expanded and we are investing again for the future, we need additional space, and so that's why we looked at the opportunity that exists here in Tipton, and that's really the essence of what we're going to do. And again, if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them, or to the extent we can, but that's why we're here. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Is there anything else from Chrysler before we consider the resolution? I would just suggest that the news media and so forth, if you have other questions that you'd like to ask the Chrysler group, that you would go outside and after the meeting and ask those questions. But on behalf of the commissioners, we are thrilled to death that you're here, and thrilled to death that this project's coming to Tipton, and it's been fun. It's been fun, and it's going to even be more fun in the future. So
I appreciate your help, all three of you, and supporting us in this.
you're welcome. At this time, I will read the resolution. Resolution 2012-05, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Tipton County, Indiana, approving a statement of benefits, personal property tax abatement deductions, and matters related thereto. Whereas pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1, 1-12, and 1-2, on April 20, 2010, the County Council of Tipton County, Indiana, adopted resolution numbered 2010-6, which designated an area of Tipton County, Indiana as an economic revitalization area pursuant to Indiana Code, and approved real property tax deductions under the Indiana Code for redevelopment and rehabilitation in the area for up to 10 years, and personal property tax deductions under Indiana Code for new manufacturing equipment, new research and development equipment, new logistical distribution equipment, and new information technology equipment installed in the area for up to 10 years. Whereas Chrysler Group LLC is considering the acquisition of the currently vacant manufacturing facility located in the area and the installation of the new manufacturing equipment in the facility as described in the statement of benefits submitted by the applicant to the council. Whereas the applicant is requesting personal property tax deductions under Indiana Code with respect to the project and is not requesting real property tax deductions under Indiana Code with respect to related improvements to the facility. Whereas the area is located in a tax increment allocation area created by the Tipton County Redevelopment Commission pursuant to Indiana Code and designated as the Abound Solar Manufacturing Economic Development Allocation Area. Whereas pursuant to Indiana Code, if property located in an economic revitalization area is also located in a tax increment allocation area, a taxpayer's statement of benefits may not be approved unless a resolution approving the statement of benefits is adopted by the legislative body of the unit that approved the designation of the allocation area. Whereas the Board of Commissioners has reviewed the statement of benefits and other information regarding the project, including the total amount of the applicant's investment in real and personal property, the number of new full-time equivalent jobs created, the average wage of the new employees compared to the minimum wage in the state of Indiana, and the infrastructure requirements for the applicant's investment. Whereas the board desires to approve, pursuant to the Indiana Code, the statement of benefits and certain personal property tax deductions related to the project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Tipton County, Indiana, as follows. Pursuant to Indiana Code, the board hereby approves the statement of benefits and the granting of personal property tax deductions under Indiana Code for new manufacturing equipment installed by the applicant in the area as part of the project for a period of 10 years, based on the information in the statement, benefits, and other information, and pursuant to Indiana Code, such deductions shall be based on the application of the following percentages in the years set forth. There's a list here of the percentages of those abatement deductions, and anyone that wants a copy can ask for one afterwards. So in item 2, it says the board and the auditor of the county are hereby authorized, empowered, and directed on behalf of the county to take any other action as such individual deems necessary or desirable to effectuate the foregoing resolutions and any actions heretofore made or taken are hereby ratified and approved. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption. Adopted this 17th day of December 2012.
I'd like to make a motion, we adopt Resolution 2012-05, which is a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Tipton County, Indiana, approving a tax statement, and approving a statement of benefits, personal property tax abatement deductions, and matters related thereto.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve resolution 2012-05. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's a unanimous vote, and it is approved. Congratulations. Greg, you have a resolution for us to sign.
Brian, I wanted to say that in 4 years, this project has come full circle for the community and for Chrysler. And I appreciate your comments that when you first met with us about partnership, and that there's give and take with both. And I think this is a great time, will be a great time of healing for the community, and look forward to this project coming to fruition.
Thank you, we do too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a news meeting, they don't care about the rest of the meeting, they all cleared out. Yes, no, you can explain what we're doing. Bill, would you put the microphone back over where we're please?
Good news for good. Yeah, you bet.
All right, our next item on the agenda, I'm going to rearrange the agenda just a little bit. And we are going to the 945 bereavement resolution, 2012-04. Bill, you want to?
I'd like to read a resolution 2012-04. I'm sure everybody's aware that we had a county employee that died while he was working. And so this is an amendment to take care of allowing them to be paid a bereavement for. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Tipton County have enacted a personnel policy for the employees that report to the Commissioners, and which has been adopted by other office holders in Tipton County government, and whereas Tipton County experienced the loss of a full-time employee in the Highway Department while they were performing their duties for the citizens of Tipton County, and whereas the fellow employees of the Tipton County Highway Department wanted to pay their respects and last wishes to their fellow employee in the proper manner, and whereas the Tipton County Commissioners desire to alter the current personnel policy to address this type of situation. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Tipton County that the Tipton County the Employee Handbook, revised September 2008, shall amend the section titled Bereavement Leave to include the following. In the event that a county employee shall die during the course of their employment and while performing their duties and responsibilities as an employee of Tipton County government, the employees in the deceased employee's department may exercise an additional bereavement leave day with pay to attend the funeral and or calling hours of the employee. The effective date for the change in the bereavement policy shall be December the 4th, 2012. Dated this, What is the date? 17th of December, 2012.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2012-04.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to adopt resolution 2012-04. Just currently read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous. Motion carries.
I got an extra one here. I told him he was scheduled for 10:30.
All right, Larry, you're ready for highway.
Last time we opened bids for annual bids and for materials that we use. These are the results of those bids. And I recommend that we approve all the bids. We accept all bids.
You recommend we approve them as we got here?
We generally approve all the bids. We typically take the low bid. There are times we don't, particularly on stone, that we may, one quarry might be a little bit lower than the other, but we may be working closer to one quarry, and from a fuel price standpoint, it may be cheaper to actually buy stone at, a nickel or a quarter more a ton and save $10 in fuel.
I'll make a motion, we approve all the bids for the, for the material for the Tipton County Highway Department as recommended by Superintendent Mr. Weitzel.
Okay, so we're just approving that you can choose at the time who you
Well,
want
we have
purchase
to accept the bids, approve them, and then we send their form is back to them all. But that's just a summary of the results of all of them. It's kind of easy, makes it easy to read.
Okay, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor then to accept the bid tabulation, annual bid tabulation that was presented by Larry Weitzel this morning for 2013. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thanks. Kind of a quick update on last week. Brett and I drove some roads with Mike Behringer, Windmill Roads, looked at a few issues. Things are in pretty good shape out there. They do have all the windmills up. They do have one they got to take down due to the lightning strike. Took out one, they got to replace it or do whatever it took. So that project's going well, and they're continuing to work on our roads. They've been excellent to work with, as you all know. Pretty much that's all I have. You don't have something for me.
Just one thing on that. I had a person talk to me at church yesterday about that lives in the project and does not participate in the project, but lives in it, and has been thrilled to death and excited about having an upgraded road. His comment was, I understand that the roads will be gravel all winter, but he said, you're sure that they're going to come back and finish it?
Yeah.
I think that would be something that wouldn't be a bad idea to put in the paper. Maybe some kind of comments from Eon or from White Construction on how the process is going to finish out
Yeah, okay.
for the roads.
We were a little concerned obviously we haven't had to plow snow, which has been good. But going into the winter, we're a little concerned. Applying snow on a stone road is a tough thing. And, but it wouldn't be a problem on those roads. They're hard. They're like concrete. So there's no.
They're really packed.
Yeah.
They are concrete.
Yeah, they really are. So, you know, we're like, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
And it's really a better deal because any failures are going to show up in February, March when the freeze-thaw cycle starts. You know, if we get some good hard frost and it starts to thaw out, if there's a problem area, that's when that stuff's going to start showing up. And it's a lot better that all that happens and gets fixed before the resurfacing. So it's going to make an excellent project from the road standpoint. $125,000 a mile investment by them. And if you look at what we've got annually in our county and the number of miles, we've got about $5,000 to invest in our roads to maintain them a year. So it's an enormous difference.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Larry, you may have been in the room when we were discussing these trees right here. Well, we had discussed the problem with these trees. Really got too big and they kind of grew into the courthouse. And then there was some on the front side of the courthouse too. And I think it was when you were on vacation, the highway department took out a tree over here.
Right.
So I had mentioned it to Brett just to ask him about what he thought, because we had an estimate of $4,000 to just
Take those out.
cut the trees, yeah, take the trees down. So he said that he felt that the highway department could do it.
Yeah, we can take them out.
So, I mean,
That bid was for taking them out and grinding the stumps out.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any way to grind the stumps, and we don't have a
That's still
wood
safe
chipper
out there.
anymore
Yeah,
either.
but still,
Yeah, I'd still save that much.
I'm still, yeah, I should bring you up to that. I'm waiting on the truck and the chipper that Russell was driving. We have not heard back yet, a final word from the insurance company on the adjuster. There's a high likelihood that the truck will be totaled. If that's the case, I've contacted Jordan Selking of Selking International, who had the low bid on the international tandem truck. We didn't have the triaxle low bid, but they had the tandem low bid. And to see if their price is still good. And it's still good till the end of the year, and he can get an extension to like the 15th of January on that price of that truck. So my recommendation is if we get word back from the insurance company that it's a total, that we turn them loose. We need the truck, so we need to get it going as fast as possible. So as we already just bid all that stuff and have all that information fresh, it just makes sense to stay with the international. It's the same cab, several things the same body manufacturer and so on. To do it that way, it'll depend on money, on what kind of a thing the insurance company ends up with money-wise. The chipper, we're pretty sure probably is total too. We can probably buy a used chipper, which would be all right for us, for around $15,000 or so. There again, don't know what they're going to last. Our chipper's pretty old. It was bought during the big ice storm, whatever year that was, quite a few years ago. And it was a demo. 90. Yeah.
It was the big ice storm in March of '9.
Okay, so and it was a demo back then. But, so it'd be, you know, if you had it, you really kind of need to run that stuff to the chipper as possible. We can take some of it out to the city. They'll take smaller stuff. They won't take very big stuff. But yeah, we can take those out. We can't grind the stumps, but we can get Ben or somebody to come out and do that.
well, and I just thought, I mean, it isn't something that has to be done in the, right now,
Yeah.
but maybe during the winter. I think the thought was, hopefully, was to have it done by spring, so it could be,
I think out here, what we did out here, we brought them up by the roots. That's kind of risky out there because those root systems go out and you don't know what all you're going to bring up with it. Underground wiring, concrete.
And break the sidewalk.
Break the sidewalk. So we're better off just whacking them off and grinding the stumps.
Yeah, if you could do that, it'd save us some, so
Yeah,
I
we can do
appreciate it. And then you could tell, I mean, it's these right here, but there's some out front too.
Yeah, we just need to know exactly
Yeah.
which ones.
Yeah. Need the marker.
Lead marker.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Phil?
Good morning. Really just a couple things. Number one is with the parking lot, we received the extension from IDEM to May 17th to have that final site investigation report completed. I received an email from Kevin McCarthy at IDEM approving that, so we do have the extension of 120 days to where we can get these things looked at. And in his email, he even said that he's more than willing to help work with ATC and the county to try to reduce costs as much as possible. He understands, you know, the budget situation. So he asked them maybe to submit some stuff preliminarily to him, and as far as whether or not it would, you know, what they're going to do is okay, and he would try to get things approved that way so we can try to reduce some costs. So it was nice to hear that they're actually working with us. Contrary to working with us, I received a notice back from NDOT on the County Road 560 West project that right now, because the amount of pavement that we're putting down is more than 10,000 square yards, they want us to analyze not only asphalt but concrete as an option, and possibly even design both and bid as both. I sent an email back saying I think this is, I didn't use ridiculous because I didn't think that was proper. I thought it was just unwise, seeing that we have an asphalt section to an asphalt section where we've got a section in between here that it's less than a half mile long. The response back was basically, we don't care. It's over 10,000 square yards. If you want to appeal that, appeal that. So I'm going to work with Larry about looking at this. The reason one of the problems is there's an additional cost to doing this analysis. There's an additional cost to our sub who does the pavement design. They've got it, and it's not cheap. It's $4,000 to $8,000 of additional analysis and stuff like that, of which we're going to have to bill the county for that. And since we are so close to the limit on our federal dollars anyways that we have for this project, it may mean that Tipton County would have to bear the brunt of that cost. That was my email back to NDOT. So,
is there any way that section could be concrete and be as cheap as asphalt?
Right now, concrete's very cheap. I'll give them, and I'm not saying that it isn't. Concrete's not a good option on roads. I think it is. Obviously, what we, you know, even the cement stabilization we're doing out there on the east side of the county, that the windmills have done. So it's a great option. It just, to go from one to another in such a short section seems a little bit, like I said, ludicrous would be a good word to me. I think it's additional costs that are unnecessary, especially when we're so tight on budgets anyways.
Kind of a long-term maintenance issue too. I mean, long-term, when you go out there to do maintenance on that, you're going to start, stop, and, you know, still a half-mile section with a 2-mile stretch.
I mean, if we would have started the first whole section concrete and taken it all the way up to the railroad, I'd have no problem. You know, even if it was the whole mile long, that's doing that. You know, that makes sense.
Do you think we'd have any luck in appealing it?
I'm hoping so.
Now, who has to do the appeal? You?
I think Larry and I can do that. We can talk with it's basically some of the materials people and their pavement design people, and just say, we understand you have this limit, and this limit is 10,000 square yards, and we are just slightly above that. And it just seems, you know, that there ought to be exceptions like in everything else. And this is one that I think that we can explain away and say, it is, you know, we understand if you're building the bypass of Kokomo and you've got that much, you have to do both options and let's get the best price. The significance, I think, in the price difference would be small for a half-mile of roadway.
If you add the cost to, so we would have to incur some engineering costs?
Yes, it's $4,000 to $8,000 of additional analysis.
So if you add that to it, how could it, I mean, you say you've already explained that to him?
That was my letter back to the project manager with the Greenfield District. I haven't gotten beyond that yet.
So it's very likely that you could do that and spend $48,000 and then they come back and say it's okay to do asphalt.
Or it could, yeah, or it could be that we could actually, our analysis would show that asphalt is cheaper. Even if the problem is bidding it has two different options too, because we basically have to have two different sets of plans, and it's just a lot of work.
Well, I think we should give them a recommendation right now, and my opinion is that we follow whatever Larry and Phil are recommending. If they want to try to appeal it, then because Larry's point about maintenance in the future is valid.
Well, this is the same situation we have with the, why we are appealing the addition of the overhead lights at the railroad tracks, because while we all understand that it's additional cost that just it's going to be borne by Tipton County.
The first section of the road, Phil, is not totally complete, is that correct?
Yeah, it still needs its final surface, which is not much. It's just an inch and a half of surface. But that whole section was designed with an extremely deep stone base as well for the heavy truck traffic.
I think you should agree. You should just proceed forward with the fight.
Okay.
And appeal to them.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I think whatever they decide is fine.
Okay. There you go.
Will do. That is it. Everything else is moving along. We will, right after the first of the year, set some bid dates for the two bridges that are currently under design, and they'll be ready to bid. Try to work those in so they're disrupted during the summer and not disrupt traffic as little as possible. Any questions, concerns from the board?
Phil, on the original ATC bill,
Yes.
the quote, do we know that that is absolute, or is there a chance that could be, that they wouldn't use all that money?
There's a chance, that is a not to exceed number. So that is why with IDEM basically saying, hey, send us what you're thinking about doing, and they might say, no, you don't have to do these things, so hopefully it will be less.
I think we only have one bill.
And that's, because where they've only done the one testing.
Okay, well, hopefully it'll come in lower then.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Not a lot, but I think last week we got below capacity for the first time in about 22 months, somewhere in that area. We got down to 25, that's what we had this morning. We were 26 last week, we lost another one Friday. I think the judge had a change of heart or something, I don't know, but he's let a few people out.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, some of them still probably will be there. I think we caught JMI again gouging us on camera again, where they turned in like 3.5 hours and 6 hours, and they were only there for not even close to that time. I don't want to say exactly how much, but we've called them out on it. I wish I could find somebody else that can do the job, but there's nobody else that can.
Do they charge you travel time too, or?
Yeah, they charge us
So
there.
they charge you travel time plus while they're there?
Yeah. and-
Plus while they're not there.
Yeah, well, they're not there too. I mean, it's pretty ugly. I mean, but they,
What is their
usually they made it right the last time.
What is their specialty that we can't find somebody else?
They're the ones that do the plumbing part, and cut through the walls and do all that stuff to fix things.
Doesn't Schroeder do that too?
They came in and looked, and the knobs that they use, they don't have, well, they don't even make them anymore. They don't manufacture them and stuff like that, what we use. It's also outdated, they don't even make the stuff that we use in the jail right now. But I think we caught them, and I think we'll get it turned around again for a while.
You're just gonna have to watch them then, if
Yeah.
if they're the only option. then
That's
you
what we've
just-
been doing, keeping a close eye on them. Other than that, I do need Greg to get a notice in the paper to advertise for the vehicles.
Okay.
So I'll let both people know that we did not open today. I'll get hold of both people out there.
We only have bids brought in this morning by one
Right.
dealership, so
Yeah, I'll let Dan Young and all that Ford both know.
And
that we
what-
did not open.
what day do you want to set for bid openings?
How long is it gotta be advertised twice? It's gotta be advertised twice in the paper for bids, or is that just a one-time deal? I think they did it twice. And for,
And it has to-
minimum 14 days.
It's, I think it's the last one has to be like a minimum of 10 days prior.
Prior to.
So our next meeting is January 3rd.
We have to get one out really quick and then have another one out really quick.
And if not, then it would have
It
to
is
go to the
next
second
year's.
meeting in January.
Yeah, it's next year's money. I would just like to get them started, get the cars ordered. They don't just, you can't just go out there and buy it. You gotta actually order them,
So you need something in the paper about bid opening or that you're taking bids?
taking bids for these
Okay,
vehicles.
but you've already had one turned in? A bid turned in? on-
Yeah, well, I went out and told them that after, I think the November meeting, I mentioned that we need to get something in the paper for that. I didn't get in there, so it's just been miscommunication, I think. So, one of them turned it in, but I'll let them both know they have till whatever the date is that they put on there. I'm good with whatever you guys decide to do.
Probably the sooner the better,
Yeah, because I'd like to get them.
because Tipton Ford delivered one this morning.
Right.
Dirk Baxter's concern was
Yeah, I'll
that
go
if
see
you go
Dirk.
too long, then he's not sure his quote's still good, so.
Right, I understand.
So do you want the bid opening for January 3rd?
It would be best to have it in, I know what I know what the bid is from them, because I know what Hamilton County, they're buying like 15, and I can piggyback off of that bid for the SUV. It's cheaper than we paid last year for the SUV, like 26. So, we can get.
We'll try to do it January 3rd. Mike?
I'm not positive about this, but I think if you're just expanding the time when you will accept bids, so you're not changing any part of the bids, but you don't need 2 notices. I think you need a notice to say that you are extending the time under which you will receive bids.
I don't think we put anything in the paper.
Do anything in the first
Originally.
one?
Oh, it's
I went out and told them all
next
over.
No.
I went out and told both dealerships that we were going, this is what was coming out in the paper. I got yelled at last time for not notifying them of it because they don't watch the briefs. I didn't think it was my job to do, but this year I went out and notified them of everything and said, here you go, here's when we're gonna do it, here's what's gonna be in the paper. So,
Never mind.
Is it 14 days?
I'm not sure.
Well, if it's going to be the 3rd, then we have to set it for the
Yeah,
3rd.
yeah.
If it's going to be the 14th, then we don't have to set it today. But if it's the 3rd, we have to do something today, whenever you want to do it, or whenever I think it can be.
It just needs, just be a little article that says that the county's taking bids for police vehicles. That's all it has to do.
Does have to be a legal notice?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be legally done, but that's all you need. What?
If the notice is business days, like executive meetings and those meetings, if it is business days, if it is, then there's not enough days between now and the 3rd if it's 14 days. If it's 10 days, there is, because there's 11 business days between now and then.
If you want to,
That means you gotta get a meeting.
yeah, if you want to just set it for the 17th of January, it'd be fine.
It'd be the 14th.
14th, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. We'll get take care of it. And I'll notify them if they want to.
But let's just have a motion then, that that's what we're going to do, then we will have a.
I move that we set the bid opening for the sheriff's vehicles for January 14th. We'll just say 9 a.m.
Second.
I have a motion second on the floor to set the bid date for opening of the sheriff's vehicles for January 14th at 9 a.m. All those, 2013. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Now you're good. Thanks, John. Rick Satong, opening bids for the Tipton Fairgrounds drainage project.
I went and asked for 4 quotes, 4 different contractors for quotes. I only received one. There's 2 different proposals there. One's at 60 feet, one's at 100 feet. The way the price came in, I guess we'll have to go with the 100. But I have no idea. I guess they were all busy. I asked Kit Bergman, I asked Jeff Newcomb and Leon Baird, I asked Tony, who all had pictures in the county. And I thought a couple of them were going to bid on it, but no one came and picked up any paperwork, so that's what I got.
So you're putting in 2,000 feet of 12-inch main.
That's if we have to. It's John says he really won't know until we get into it and see what's going on.
That 12-inch tile that's there, how, does anybody know how old it is?
The tile out in the field, it's hard to tell how old it is. The other tile I thought was put in the 70s, it actually goes through the fairgrounds. Late 70s, early 80s. And I thought John put it in.
So if he put this, if he goes ahead and puts this 12 in, then that existing 12 will stay there, still be hooked up, still be working. This one will be
Correct.
somewhere beside it.
Yeah, somewhat beside.
Well, this,
John usually don't like to tear something out and abandon it. If it's moving any water at all, he's gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
Is this 100-foot spacing meet
For
co-alliance?
co-alliance, I had a discussion with him this morning. He's willing to try it. You know, he says it ought to work. If not, we'll do something else in 3 or 4 years. If we have to go every 50 feet, split the middles.
If you do that though, then that would be even a better reason to go ahead and put that 12-inch main in now.
I asked the same question. You know, I don't want to overload the main if we decide to tile it more in the future. So that's, I would like to put the main in.
I think you should. I think you should, knowing that there's a good possibility you're going to split those middles and go to 50s. If you do that, you're doubling up the water you're putting in that 12. So it'll probably be overloaded at that time. If you don't put that main in now, you'd have to do it later. You just won't do that now.
I agree. Now, Phil, USI, brought up, he told me that we might be able to go to the drainage board and borrow the money for the project and then pay them back. Can you help explain that?
Well, it was just a discussion. I'd actually, because it is a county project, in a sense, you could borrow it from the county general drain instead of borrowing it from a bank or whatever, if there's money in save whatever interest that the county may have.
And that's been done before. But the problem with that is that that fund is not real healthy.
It's been done as in, like, what kind of project?
I know that they, in the past, there has been some money borrowed from general drain improvement to do some projects, and it's been paid back. But didn't you have this on was it a 5-year loan?
Well, we just discussed getting a 4-year loan.
4 years?
Right.
Okay.
That's what I,
We have a drainage board meeting this afternoon, so we can see what that fund is, but I know that it's in the $100,000 range is all that there's in there, so.
should I go to that and explain to them what I want to do?
If you want, I mean, we'll see what, you can go down and ask Jason what's
Do you
in
have
there.
time to do it?
Not really, but I'll make
Well,
it. But I mean, I want to know, I want to get this done.
Yeah, it'd be better though, Rick, to just stop by and ask him what's.
I've already
in it.
talked to Jason.
Okay, what's in the fund?
Well, I didn't ask him what was in the fund, but told him what I was thinking about doing, and he goes, well, I don't know, because we'll have to ask the drainage board,
Right,
so.
right. See, the problem with that is that when the maintenance funds in a certain tile are deficient, then it borrows from that general drain improvement. So you never know if you have enough, you know, to do another, for another tile that's a county tile. If they had to borrow from general drain improvement, then there may not be enough money if they take this all out. So.
Well, then if I go to the bank and we want to borrow money, then do we need to go to 3 different banks and get 3 different quotes? And how do we go about, how's the fair board go about doing that?
I think I would just check around and see what the best interest rate is. But you're wanting the Board of Commissioners to be the co-signers,
Correct.
Well, currently the county's banking at Harris and First Farmers.
Okay,
So those are 2 banks we're already using.
okay.
So we just check with those 2.
But what do you think, should I go to the drainage board and at least ask? Or?
I think it should be brought up today.
Okay.
Did you have a figure that you thought could be put down on it?
I'm guessing 15,000.
So if you go with, see here it says if, you know, this figure is if the existing 12-inch tile is good, and if not, then it'd be 74. So we're looking at like 62, almost 75. So we're looking at 62 and 75.
Right. When I first originally was talking about it, I thought it'd be around 60, and we would put 15 down, and we'd borrow roughly $45,000.
No way you'll know that until you get in there. You know if it's,
I would say, it's, like Mike said, it's probably going to be a given. We're probably going to replace it.
so it's going to be 75.
I said we bring it up to drainage board today and at least consider being able to borrow that money from the drainage fund. 60,000.
Okay, now the next question is, how long would it take to get the money if we did it that way?
You don't know for sure. Until we get in the drainage board and we ask this question,
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm curious if John doesn't work by spring, if we'd be able to pay him, or,
You know, when's John think that he would start if we,
he just said he hoped to have it done by spring, so,
okay.
I don't know.
So he needs paid by, we need to be ready to pay him by spring.
Correct. So,
Well, Phil's right about the interest because you're gonna pay the interest probably 4.5%, 5%, and the county's getting less than 1% interest on the money that the county has, so it's non-existent.
so are we okay then to go ahead with, can I tell John to go ahead and schedule us, or?
The interest should be tax exempt from the bank if you're going to guarantee it, so it should be less than that.
Okay.
I would be consistent to be less than that.
Okay. And how much, Jim, less from just the commercial rate?
It should be about half.
About half. So then really the interest is probably not an issue.
And the bank should be willing to do that as goodwill too, so.
Okay.
Push it on.
Okay.
So would you like the approval on the 75?
Yes.
Okay, I'll move that we approve the drainage project that is being proposed on the farm ground, commonly known as the Tipton County Farm that the Fair Board is overseeing, and to approve an amount estimated to be around $75,000. Correct to say that. So I'll say with an estimate of $75,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second then to approve this proposal brought by the Fair Board to do drainage on county property at the fairgrounds. And the maximum amount is $75,000. All those in favor say aye.
It was estimated, not maximum.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it's not to exceed that.
Everybody wants to go over 75,000.
Yeah, but what if it's 75,100? I think it needs to be worded, the estimated
That's why I
amount
said
like she
estimate.
made.
Okay.
It doesn't set a limit.
Then the estimated amount in the motion then is $75,000.
So, aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
And then I'll also move that the Board of Commissioners will agree to co-sign on a loan that the Fair Board would need to take out with a proposed down payment of $15,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor, then the Board of Commissioners would co-sign a note. This note would be for this project, approximately $75,000, and that the Fair Board would put down $15,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Rick.
There's Jason, you can find that.
Where is it?
Right there at the door.
Yeah, he is. Greg, can you explain to us now on what we need to do here concerning town law that you have on the agenda?
This is an arbitrage agreement. I'm not sure I fully understand what they're proposing a fee to prepare a report.
For the edit bond.
Okay, did they not give us what it's going to actually cost? I see they gave us the rates of their,
I thought you said 2,500.
I was thinking 2,500, but I don't see that in this agreement. So did Gary Malone told us that it was approximately, going to cost approximately 2,500? And all it gives in this agreement is Exhibit B is the standard hourly rates.
And then half of that should be paid for the system.
Well, now wait a minute, was the 2,500?
2,500 is the county's portion.
It was our portion, I think,
I thought 2,500 is the total bill, and the city should pay half of that.
That's
So it
correct.
should be-
That is
it should be
correct.
1,250 apiece.
Okay,
That's correct.
all right.
What does that do? Now?
No, it's not. He will actually do it in 2013, but if, that 1,250 would be, if this is signed, could be encumbered from edit. Well, if it's signed, then you have a contract in place, so then that would allow you to encumber the
That would
money
be project
from
52.
edit to take out and have it for next year.
What do we need to add to it?
Yeah, but has anyone spoken to the mayor about this so that we know that?
Gary Malone was supposed to talk to him, because after our meeting the other day, Gary said that he would talk to the mayor. I don't know if that happened or not.
Is Haven still out there?
Can't tell. Dave Havens?
This is just a one-time thing. So,
We can go ahead with our
hoping that we get that.
You okay with it?
Yeah, I'll move that we enter into this agreement for arbitrage rebate services with UMBOF in an amount that we were told to be, told would be $2,500, with the understanding and hope that the city would contribute $1,250, which is their share.
You want to add in that to go ahead and encumber the funds for it?
And that we encumber the funds to pay for this in 2013 from our edit project 52.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to enter into an arbitrage rebate services agreement with Umbot Associates for what, an estimated cost of $2,500, half of that being paid by the city of Tipton, and that we will be encumbering this money from Project 52. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You have a copy for us, an agreement for us to sign, Greg? Okay. There were two copies that Brad Nichols.
Yeah, service.
We'll get to that in a minute, but it's different. There's a little bit, it's a little different. 1.9 has been reworded.
You had said under this.
They're the ones that Brad brought in, there are two copies there.
Okay. Okay.
$1.9 is what you changed.
What was changed?
Okay, the next thing that we will discuss is the ambulance service contract that we agreed to in our last meeting with, it's a 3-year extension with SEALS for $175,000 per year. There is one change. Greg will have to bring his copies over. 1.9 in the original says that the ambulance service shall, the original one that we have talks about complete background criminal review of the employees. SEAL said that can't happen because the state police takes 60 days to do that, so there's no way we can sign this agreement. So what they did was change that to say that they would do a thorough review or something like that, but it would not be complete background criminal check by the state police.
Well, we accepted this, didn't we?
Well,
Accepted with the changes?
we accepted that we would go with SEALs, but we didn't have the contract in front of us, so.
Right. All we have to do is sign it, right?
Yeah, we did. Well, we probably should say that we'll enter into the agreement.
As presented.
I'll make a motion, we accept the agreement for ambulance service in Tipton County with the change in 1.9.
This is with SEALs ambulance service for a
3-year period.
3-year period and ending date now. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to review or to accept this contract presented by SEALS for a 3-year renewal with no, with a firm ending date as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Greg, when do you want to do the claims? Payroll? Well, we've got several things down here in other business we can work in, and whenever the rules over, that's fine, we'll just kind of work around that. Right. We'll have an announcement today. Triple S Farms, the construction bid opening, it has been set for project that they are building new housing for their migrant workers. The bid opening will be on January 28th, 2013, and that the request for bids and so forth will be advertised in the Kokomo Tribune by the grant writers that are involved in taking care of that for SSS. Let's take care of this. Okay, what about reimburse the RDC for fees? We have to do that. Greg, what are we reimbursing to the redevelopment commission?
Commissioner Harper brought to my attention that we had paid 3 years in a row $2,000 fees out of edit money. It should have, or no, it was out of RDC, wasn't it? It should have been paid out of edit money. That those fees should have been shared by county and city, so that there is a need to restore those funds to proper, to correct that error.
Oh, and what were those fees paid for?
The bank service fees.
Service charges for the edit loan. Did Monty give you a letter?
No, I have not.
He told me that he sent.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm sorry. Pardon me just a minute. I'll look at that.
Okay, let's go to meeting minutes while we're waiting on Greg. We've got 10:22 minutes in the packet.
Well, I've got back to December 1st.
That's right, we don't have the, I read the 1022 online, but I didn't print them. So what are we approving today, the 1022, and then what about the, let's see, December 3rd? I'll be right back.
I thought we were out of money on the loan.
We had a invisible fence installed, but
You put money into
it's
outside
not
professional
actually there, so you have to have
To pay telephone, there was money left, so we paid jumper.
I did that out of the, I did that in that one county. I got it transferred out of another county. It's right outside.
Greg will bring over the October 22nd copies in a minute. But if you want to set those aside, I'll just go ahead and want to do claims first or pay the claims? All right.
So I amended a copy here.
The new totals page. The total amount for claims is $123,780.53.
juvenile, Jonathan, maybe
It's on a
send me a
separate
picture
document
of
for
their
you to approve the transfer first.
So cute. That's a lot of DJ.
And the same thing for, that's, we're going to transfer the money back.
Is that the other one that was out? Is it 25?
There was one for a $20 one for Debbie Trash and office supplies. The very top one.
That's a new one too.
Yeah.
So that takes 60 to 123. So that's $4,000. A 19.6 to 123.7.
2,500.
So that's
Oh, Aaron Dickerson, Community Corrections. Yes. Page 7.
I'll move. Oh, okay. I'll move we approve miscellaneous claims for docket date 12/17/12 in the amount of $123,780.57.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to pay the miscellaneous claims for today's date, $123,780.57. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
There was a Vectren bill for the highway department that I had to pay before the meeting. It was $603.68.
We have, there's I move we approve this bill to Veteran Energy for the Highway Department in the amount of $602.68.
Second.
Motion second on the floor to pay the veteran bill for the highway at $603.68. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I had to pay Tipton Utility Service Board on Friday, and the amount for that was $3,427.50.
What did this come out of ours or the?
Some were courthouse and some were other departments, the jail and dispatch.
Oh, this was the one for these little ones for the
Yes.
courthouse, right? This is the area. Okay, I move we approve the claim for $3,427.15 to Tipton Utility Service Board.
Second.
Motion second on the floor to pay Tipton Utilities $3,427.15. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have the big Cicero claims, which I have to put on a separate docket. They're in the amount of $1,107.17.
Move we approve the claims for Big Sister Creek Drainage Board, amount of $1,107.17.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to pay Big Cicero's claims in the amount of $1,107.17. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have 4 claims that need to be approved contingent upon approval for transfers of funds by the county council tomorrow night. One to the board, one for reassessment, and 2 for dispatch. a total of $35,583.10.
Give us a 35 one.
583.
How many claims you said it was?
4. The one for the reassessment isn't on there because it's out of 124, which is a fund for next year, and I can't access that fund yet, so it won't be on there.
So really only 3 funds, right?
Yeah.
So
The one for the reassessment.
it won't be paid this year then?
Yes, I believe they're waiting to get the money out of the rest of the money out of 123 to use towards that.
Is that Barnes and Thornburg bill out of that spatial fund?
It's out of the wind energy expense fund.
It'll be coming out of a check
We
that
discussed.
UV just paid to the county last Tuesday in the amount of $65,000. And it's already been, I checked with Greg to make sure that it is in the right fund and it's there.
It's going to be short again this trip too. Not they pay them.
Well, it's not supposed to be.
That was
It's 35.
Yeah.
For Barnes and Thornburg.
Yeah.
Okay,
Rick said that we should have some money left over, so we'll see.
I don't see that.
did you, also, we have received one from Unlock, from Matt Echolaters, that should be on here too, from,
Did they turn a claim in to Greg last Thursday?
it was.
Umball and Barnes and Thornburg both were supposed to turn claims in last Thursday.
I thought they were supposed to send it by email. I
They
haven't seen
did.
it.
I was copied and so were you. It is, right here. We have to approve that too.
We can add it to the.
Yeah, because that comes off to also when they're doing.
8750. 8,000.
Okay, but Lindsay, that's gonna come out of the same wind energy expense, okay?
Almost.
And this is, when they approve that appropriation tomorrow night, then these can be paid on Wednesday. Okay.
Should be 44,333. Right, Phil?
44,3310.
4403?
No, $44,333.10.
Okay, I'll move that we approve these claims subject to the appropriation by the county council tomorrow night in the amount of $44,333.10.
You did say that if it goes through the council, right?
Yes.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve these claims pending the council's approval tomorrow night of $44,333.10. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
You got it?
Oh, you got it already?
Yeah, I got it. Just want to make sure you did this.
That's what we're going to
Yeah.
Well, they should be about that. Should, once they get past the process tomorrow night.
There'll be another 10 now.
You're going to have just one of those guys come instead of both Matt and Gary. We could be in both of them. Or if we don't.
Only had one the other night. The last council here. Matt was there.
We need both there. You're right, it's going to get up quick.
That'd be another 10,000.
Matt's rate's lower than Gary's too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I know that.
Yeah. West Matt there.
Yeah, but Matt and Gary's rate bill is what less than yours.
Okay, we have a transfer of funds in the amount of $1,943.93 to pay Hamilton Town and County Juvenile Housing. And that's from outside professional services to the adult juvenile housing. I don't think you have copies of it.
Okay, what was the amount?
1943.93. This is from that here,
Yes.
and that would be zero.
Yes.
Okay, on move that we approve the transfer from outside professional services to adult and juvenile housing in the amount of $1,943.93, and also to approve payment of that claim.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to transfer $1,943.93 out of outside professional services into adult juvenile housing. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. You vote, Phil?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We don't have to do this today, if we decide to. Okay, this one is to transfer from outside professional services to published legal to augment the, that fund to pay some triggering claims in the amount of $150. So I'll move we approve that transfer and then pay the claim to the Tipton Tribune.
The amount for those two claims, $29.11.
Oh, okay, I got that up. That's okay.
What is it?
3031 and 2911. 2942. For 15 and
30, 31,
2911.
59.42.
And then I move that we approve payment of $59.42 to the Tipton Tribune.
Second.
And we have a motion set on the floor to transfer $150 out of outside professional services into published legal, and then also to pay a claim to the Tipton Tribune for $59.42. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Is this for Mars? Oh, so this one is, you're going to move this from is that thing to type.
And then we'll correct it.
Let's see, that type of thing.
And then we have a claim for Debbie Trageser in the amount of $299.99 for the purchase of a security camera system. The rest of the website addition to council commissioner approval for that. Security system,
What kind of security system?
4-camera, 8-channel security system, is what it said on the invoice.
Did you talk to IT or anything? Is anybody?
I think so.
I don't even know the first I've heard about it. Bill,
No.
has the clerk talked to you about this?
No.
Or maybe it's something she needs for election, I don't know, maybe she should. Maybe she should.
Let me see the class.
She's got a minute and tell us what it is. You want to, because, so we did without question.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. These are, see what you guys want to do about this. These are some trigger claims that Elwood Publishing sent to me that were outstanding that were incurred by the former auditor. And I don't know what you want to do about it.
How much are they?
$25.98, $24.90, and $21.66. And they've been, I mean, they're way overdue. April 12th, April 7th.
We got any place to pay about it?
Well, what about this 150 then? that we
Well,
just-
that's what, when Lindsay and I were discussing this, we went ahead and put in some extra cushion in case.
I think we'll go ahead and pay.
I-
Distribute that.
Well, I think I just think it's a good faith thing that, that we didn't really confirm it.
Agree.
And so we can put this against,
What's the total?
well, you guys add it up, there's no total here. It's $25.98, $24.90, and $21.66.
You want this one separate, that's it.
7254.
Okay. Maybe, I think we put 100 extra in, didn't we? I'm sure we did, so.
Yes.
Okay. I'll move that we approve these claims to Elwood Publishing that appeared in the Tipton Tribune in the amount of $72.54 to come out of the Commissioner line legal, or published legal.
Second.
We have a motion second to pay $72.54 to Elwood Publishing. And that is to come out of published legal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Is there anything else?
We need her.
How many claims do you have like right now that have come in since the
She's here.
I think everything that everybody's going to be paid requested to be paid on the 2013 budget.
So you don't have any that should.
Lindsay, you want to take care of the encumbrances that we have discussed or that we're contemplating while you're here?
That's fine. I can do it.
Well, why don't you, if you have to go get paperwork, why don't we do payroll while you're on? Okay. Payroll.
These totals are going to include the payout for Russell Sajano. His sick days, he had like 36 days.
Why is it so much higher?
Because of Russell's.
Russell
Sick
Sajano,
day
his
payout.
sick days were like $4,300
Okay.
or $730. And then there's also the PAs and these totals too. That's salary and then two. And then Karen and Yep. Which will finish out his salary for the year.
We just give them that, because we're going to, let's finish up payroll first.
Okay, so all these amounts here were just what was remaining in the balance, in the balances?
Well, and all of them were, I mean, within just cents,
Right.
like real big.
Right, they're all-
Right.
So all these would be zero now.
Mhm.
I'll move to approve payroll in the amount of $435,412.98.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the payroll for 12/21/2012 in the amount of $135,412.98. All those in favor say aye.
Second.
Carries.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, so now they have that close. Yeah, but no. Okay.
Thanks, Derek. Look on the minutes for a minute, or just wait on, oh yeah, Debbie, sorry. Now, the question was, on the claim for the security camera, we didn't know anything about it. And so, that was the question. It was a separate claim. We just wondered if you could explain to us what's going on and who's installing it and
All they do is they just go on the wall. There's 4 little cameras that we're put up, just kind of as a deterrent, you know. And our counter space for when people come in.
Is it tied into our computer system?
No.
Why don't
No,
we?
it'll just be a separate, it's just got a separate little DVD.
So all you're doing is recording people that are there.
Right.
There's not someone monitoring it.
No, it'll be, I mean, it could be monitored, I mean, it could be tied in, to just a monitor, but we'll just set it to, record, just to kind of, and I thought the presence of just, a cameras would help to, people. Oh, yeah.
Is this something we need to look at for the courthouse as well? I mean, why would we take individual offices and why don't we get the IT and why don't we put it on the county computer system?
A lot of cash, in our office. I have had one instance where somebody tried to come in the door after, when I went out to the hallway to drop off a box out by the recycle bin. I was there with myself. It was after hours. And I shut the door, and I got about 10 feet away from the door. Somebody tried to force the door open.
Then why wouldn't we have the security cameras down at the door that are trying to force open instead of up on the 3rd floor?
Wonder how that person got in the courthouse after hours.
I don't know. But the economic times that we're in, we take in a lot of cash in that office, and people know that. And so, I felt that, for the safety of my girls, a little more security, that...
Well, it ain't gonna make you any safer. You may know who did it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But it's not gonna make you any safer.
But if that's something, and I'm not against security, but why just one office if we're gonna do that? I mean, there's girls on every floor in there, so...
Well, I think you're talking about the money issue.
You're right.
You're taking the most money.
Yeah. I mean, we have considerable, cash deposits on a daily basis.
It's in your budget and it's equipment. $300, I don't see.
It was a $650 item, and it was it came through as a deal. And I'd seen it before about a year ago when I put the second one, but I'd seen one come through about a year ago.
Yeah, how does it, you say it records on a disc, so all 4 cameras then are just recording onto a single disc?
I just put one in the Side Street Mall and I put it in the computer system and they work, and that's the whole thing.
Well, I mean, if it makes them feel safer, and I don't think for $300, I don't think anything wrong with it. That's what she wants to do. It's her office. For budget, for equipment, it's there.
I think the IT department should have been at least aware of it.
The IT isn't security. She's just talking about security.
What are you gonna do?
Well, like I said, it's your budget, your department, and your equipment. If it makes all you people feel good, I don't know why we should question that. So I move to approve the claim for $299.99.
Second.
I can't second that because I don't really know what it is, and I think it's something we should have talked about and looked at for the courthouse, not just one office. I mean, I think we should have been aware of it, and I think we need to discuss it. Is this something we need to go farther with?
Okay. Motion dies for lack of second. We'll have to bring it up at our next meeting.
I mean, I think we need to continue. I think it's a good thing. I think we need to go farther.
Okay, all right. Okay.
We can put one of those lenses, we can put a camera like out in the lobby and have all floors. Protect
On a
us from
single
here.
system.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I just
I've
did one.
quoted several types of those types of systems. Yeah.
Thanks, Deb.
Bill, didn't you even, or at one time, were you thinking about looking into some money from Homeland Security or?
At one time, we were looking at that. I don't.
Chuck's back there, Mike.
I can answer that. About 5 or 6 years ago, there were several grants that were available to harden targets,
Yeah.
which would be this building here, to have one entrance, multiple exits, but only one entrance that would be open in a security situation, and also to put cameras in and things of that nature. At that time, it just wasn't acted upon by that EMA director, that it just wasn't done. So
Is there anything available today? Or?
no, a lot of the funding now goes to districts. There's not as much county funding in grants, almost nil actually. So it's kind of now, that opportunity, like I said, was 5 or 6 years ago and it won't come around again, any foreseeable future.
Well, I think Phil's right. If we're going to do something, we need to do more than just one office. We need to know who comes and goes.
That system she bought, does it have capability to have 8 cameras instead of 4? With a small addition.
Play, right, Bill?
Yeah.
When you say a lot,
Yeah.
you can just add to.
I mean, with a small addition, I think we can do the whole courthouse with what she's got started. I mean, I think it's a good start, and but I'd like to do some more discussion and see if we need to expand that. I mean, I think security camera in today's world would be a good investment.
Well, we've got.
I mean, Bill could look at that system and probably see how much more compatible it could be for the entire courthouse.
That's what I'd like to see, if we can use that and expand on it.
Hey Chuck, I know that we had talked about this before, and I know that it's really, Nolan was spearheading it, but where are we with the drill? Especially in light of what happened last week.
I talked with, as far as the fire truck goes, I talked to the fire chief, we'll do that in the first year. There's a few, we can definitely do like, an active shooter drill is really hard to do here, because really it's just like the plan says, just lock the door and stay in place. Once I get a revision about which floor, actually no one has to use, that's print and distribute it. We changed the tornado to where the 4th and 3rd floor go to Jason Henderson's office, 1st and 2nd floor, everyone goes into the health department office. And that's the only change that we did, like on a tornado plan, or tornado plan. The only thing that we're trying to figure out now is how to get everybody, how to get it activated without setting off the siren. More or less just saying, okay, at 10 o'clock, everyone, this is how we're going to do it. That's the last thing that we have to get into place. And then, like I said, get the amended instructions distributed out to everybody.
Did we agree that we were going to go with the text message system and try that?
Well, actually, I did go around every floor and kind of designate one person to make sure that their floor is empty. And those are in the plan also. So it's kind of like, not a floor fire marshal per se, but that's what it would be. It's just to make sure that your floor is empty. And that's kind of how you're in charge of getting everyone out. Because you stand obviously in the middle here and get everyone's attention. So that's the best way to do it, as opposed to a text message or phone call. If you're going to be leaving anyways, you might as well just peek your head in every door.
Thanks, Chuck. Lindsay?
I have the encumbrances for Maximus and DLZ. That amount is $21,207.79.
That's for project 50 down to 60, right?
Yes.
What's the max?
21,207.71.
Which one's that?
For Maximus and DLZ.
Both of them together.
Yes.
18,207. Okay, I have a question.
Since they're different projects, we have to have different listings.
Probably should.
I think they have to be
Listed individually on that form.
She's got an individual.
Yeah. That's 2 of them, right?
Yes.
Okay, I move we approve the encumbrances to pay. These are companies we have a contract with outstanding taxes, and one is for Maximus Project 59, the amount of $3,000, which will empty that, and then Project 60 to DLZ. This is ADA study in the amount of $18,207.79 for a total of $21,207.79.
That's all Jackie's got left, is $3,000.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor then to approve the claim. Encumber money then from 59 and 60 to pay Maximus and DLZ in the amount of total $21,270.79. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, that's presented to the council, supposed to have a copy of the contract, isn't it? We got some more encumbrances to do.
Those were the only two, and then ATC, but the ATC came out already.
Yeah.
We have that one, and then we've got the, for Pickering Interiors. And then Jan is gonna find out about the carpet for the treasurer's office.
Yeah, let's see, we've got,
Copy of the,
oh, and,
copy.
yeah, and when was that, you brought that letter in, what was that letter that you went and got from Monty?
It's right here.
You okay with this for Benita?
For who?
Okay, for Benita, okay.
Did he say the price is good
Yes,
for single
yes,
office?
yeah, and just let him do the renewal. Okay, I'm gonna move that we encumber a total of $1,215 from Project 48 to pay for, to approve some work to be done next year in the treasurer's office.
Second.
What is it?
It's $1,215.
Project 48. Okay, we have a motion second on the floor then to encumber money out of Project 48 for work on floors in the treasurer's office in the total amount of $1,215. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then, can we add this one too? This would be $6,000 encumbered from also Project 48 to pay for Mr. Pickering's work in the, on the first floor plastering. Okay.
Second.
But then we have a motion second on the floor to encumber $6,000 from Project 48 to pay Pickering's for plaster work in the courthouse. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then, second one is, okay, this is the explanation for the, okay, here's got the things too. It says, at our RDC meeting of December, Commissioner Harper approached us with information regarding an error in processing payment of three $2,000 annual claims for a total of $6,000 that were inadvertently paid with RDC funds for service charges for an edit bond. To rectify the situation, this advised the county reimburse their share of $3,000 to the city for $3,000 via their respective edit funds. This expense was one regarding the city's and county's bank charges from Star Wealth Management. So, here's the, here are the, this shows where they were taken out of the RDC instead of edit.
Who's the floor?
The service charges, for, it was the service charges for this, for the edit bond that we have with, we share with the city. And it just was $2,000. I have actually contacted Star Wealth Management and said, you know, what does this $2,000 get us for service charge per year? And I was told, service fees.
For the $1 million?
No, for the, yeah, for the
$1
$1.2
million.
edit bond. So, as he said, it was inadvertently, these were done in March, and one's January, one's February, one's March. When they came in, apparently.
So where do we take the money from?
Well, it just has to be somewhere from edit, so I'd say then, Project 52.
Okay.
And are we taking out $6,000 or three?
Four, yeah.
the city paying the county back, or the county, or the city paying RDC Direct? How are they doing this?
Greg, have you talked to,
I have not talked to John Havens.
well, as far as an accounting procedure, is there any way you would rather have it? Do you want us to just do the 6,000 and put the 3 in edit, or what do you want to do?
Got a city councilman back there. Do you have any suggestions, Mike?
Are you going to pay us, Mike?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to pay us back?
I don't know. I mean, I need to know more information.
It was,
Take it over, guys.
you know the edit bond that we share with the city? Well, these are just bank charges that have been incurred every year, and they were inadvertently taken out of our RDC funds. And they really should have been taken out of edit, and that should be shared, a shared cost with the city. And what's going to happen in the future, and Greg and I discussed this, is when the county withholds their portion of those city funds, they're just going to withhold another $1,000 every year, so we won't have to be going through this.
I was facetious in my comment. However, our edit fund is not controlled by the city council. The edit fund is totally the mayor's discretion, so I really can't speak for him.
Okay.
But my guess is that it'll be fine.
This would be one of those.
Take care of the transfer. Okay. All right. All right. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
You
Okay,
agree
so.
with half, and you just take half?
The 3,000.
Okay.
And then just let him reimburse it to the, okay.
Is it due right now?
It's supposed to clear the books by the end of the year, right, Greg?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to share.
Then we'll take the whole thing, and then
Okay, all right, okay. That way it's done. That way we know it's done.
it'll be less hassle.
Okay. I'll move that we approve then and come, no, this would be, this would, Greg, this wouldn't be an encumbrance. This is just a,
This would be a payment.
this is just a transfer.
Transfer, yeah.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I move we make a correction in the books that we just approved a transfer from edit project 52 into fund 378 RDC for $6,000.
Second. We have a motion and a second on the floor to transfer $6,000 from project 52 to fund 378. All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Is that all you got?
Okay, do we have any more? Do we have any more?
Has Linda Williamson turned her December thing in?
It was on the miscellaneous.
It was
So
in,
that pays her up to the end of the year.
it was in our claims. Total.
And we got,
Yeah, sure. She owes it.
this is the one I was doing. Okay. I think that's it.
Okay, that all has to be on the council agenda tomorrow.
I think we've done the numbers.
Thanks, Lindsay. Okay, Greg, we're going to go to our minutes then. You want to, did you bring us the 10:22 minutes? I read them online.
Great, I just had, I mean, these are just little, you guys see like you started. I mean, they're just little.
Yes, I saw
It's all just, I've highlighted for you. Oh, I think what I was going to list though, because it reminded me on that. I move we approve the minutes from October 22nd, 2012 with some typographical corrections.
Have a motion second on the floor to approve the claims with typographical corrections. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Hey, Jim, we can't hear, okay?
Oh, go ahead.
Do you have a, Greg, do you have a copy for us to sign, or do we just give you this one with the corrections? Does that be okay, just to, we'll just do this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
That way you've got them all here.
Yes.
No, this is December 3rd.
You got it marked up on December 3rd?
We didn't have his email, we just got it this morning.
When's the Comcast company going to do their work?
No, they haven't contacted us yet.
Last one of the year, guys. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Brian.
See you
Thank
guys.
you. Yeah, I did feel left out.
I move we approve the minutes from December 3rd, 2012, as presented.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve December 3rd minutes as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Greg, on the November minutes,
They're not quite ready yet.
Okay.
They're almost there.
all right. Since we don't have another meeting about approving those minutes, contingent on our review and signing in his office. And what are the dates? What were those dates?
That would be the
The 5th?
November 5th. And
19th. Okay.
then we will also have minutes for the executive sessions that need to be. We've had several executive sessions.
Beth emailed those. Did you ask Beth Roach to write those up?
So
I prepared some of them and she did as well, so those are just a single sheet. We could have those signed at the same time for that.
I printed them out.
Right, but she didn't keep the minutes for the executive meetings, all of them, you did.
No, I did.
So we need to probably just approve those all.
You made all of them all together.
Hers, plus,
Mine.
because I think you did, what, one meeting or
I
two?
did
She did, I
two.
think, two for you.
I did at least 2 and she's done 2.
Yeah, so there's four,
At least
for
four.
confirmation that the meeting took place.
So we got the dates.
Now, in those executive sessions, there's no content, I mean, just confirmation that the meeting met the
Yeah.
legal advertisement, and that nothing else was.
There's three, because one was a recess meeting.
That's right, the 11th and 12th, or the Thursday and Friday, it was the 14th and 15th.
But still, there'll have to be a record of the fact that that meeting was recessed and then resumed and the time and so forth. And the people present. Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah, so you want to, okay, what we need first is, do you have a copy of the December 3rd ones that you want us to sign, or do you want us to use one of ours?
I have a copy.
And then you can just let us know when
Yes.
the minutes are ready to review. Well, you can send them to us in email.
Yes, I will.
We can review and then we can come in when we're ready to sign.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll move that we pre-approve upon review the Board of Commissioner minutes from November 5th and 19th, and the executive sessions of, those dates correct.
Yeah, we had one on,
The 11th, the 13th, spilled into the 14th. The 13th is one meeting, 13th and 14th is one meeting.
And the 11th, and then the Thursday before that.
The 6th. Is what, did we do, did we meet on the 6th? I forgot what.
Thursday, yeah.
Hmm?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and, yeah, the 6th, 11th, and 13th.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor then to approve the minutes for regular commissioner meetings for the November 5th and November 19th, contingent on the commissioners' review and signing at a later date in December, and the auditor's office, as well as the record of meetings, of executive meetings on December 6th, 11th, and 13th. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Here's your copy, Greg.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the public? Jason?
Keeping in, I always had a request. Is this fine?
Yeah.
Just keeping in mind with the policy for accepting donations for the county, because of this board, I was going to ask, one, the manger, or that be accepted as a gift, and then the bookcase that's in our office. We do use it, and I think Commissioner Harper had said she was going to leave that, but I thought I should ask to see if that was still the case, because we do utilize it, and then to accept the other piece before this meeting was winding down.
You okay with that?
Yeah, Jason, I spoke to Jason about that, so.
I make a motion, we accept the gifts of the bookcase and the manger scene.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor then to accept a gift of a manger scene and a bookcase in the Secretary's office. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You had agreed to for a little medal for him.
Yes, yes.
This was, guys, we all got this, so I just wondered what, you wanted to do about that, because according to the letter, they've been after trying to get something resolved since April.
Yeah, and I had given this to Beth, Beth, I thought was going to take care of it.
Well, it's for the landfill though. That's not really Beth, it's the landfill trust.
That's something we need John to look at.
They're wanting to change the trustee, but yeah, it's definitely, what's it called? What do they call it, the land?
Why do we even need it?
It's landfill trust. Well, there's a 30-year closure, landfill closure. We have a trust account that holds about $28,000 currently.
Then they run out of it.
That, if landfill ran out of money, then IDEM would use that money to continue the closure procedures at the landfill. There has to be periodic and ongoing water testing and soil testing. Right, the things that we're already doing, yes, maintaining the site for the 30-year closure period. I've talked to IDEM and they are not amenable to shortening the 30-year period.
Once the bank's wanting is out of that responsibility.
They want to get out of the responsibility when somebody else
They
takes
don't want
it.
to be the trustee. And so at the end of the 30 years, if they don't need, if everything's fine, then the money reverts back to the county.
Right.
It's in there, $28,000.
So I guess what we need to do is...
We need to change trustees, and the current trustee is Harris Bank.
Right.
And they are going to impose a significant fee if we don't change trustees that would, in the next 10 years, would essentially eat it up. I've done some checking around. The cheapest I could find is around $500 per year. And that's and I believe that's with First Farmers in their Peru office.
What
They just set a piece of paper on a shelf, as far as I can tell.
what goes into managing this?
I suppose they're probably annual reports to the federal government, maybe. But outside of that, I don't know what their duties are. There's been no action, no deposits or withdrawals for years from that account.
Jim Powell, is this something we can do in-house, or do we have to hire an institution like First Farmers to do this for us?
I think you have to have a trust department to be trustee.
Okay.
And, there is some liability too for that trust department.
Okay.
So
I suggest that we just transfer it to First Farmers, the responsibility, and we...
I've been checking on rates, and $500 a year is the cheapest I can find. Harris is considering imposing in excess of $2,500 a year.
I suggest, my recommendation it would be that we transfer this to First Farmers right away.
And did you check here?
I checked around locally. I haven't been able to find the local branch that would handle the trust. First Farmers. I can.
Well, at the Peru office.
Mike,
Yeah, Jim.
you might look at the agreement. Sometimes it doesn't actually require that trust fiduciary. So you might look at that before you make that decision. There might suggest a foundation. That might be a possibility, but there's some liability on that. Let's follow up.
How about we ask Jim Powell?
Jim, reading through the documents, I think it talks about it has to be with a bank that has trust powers, and so I think it does have to be with a bank. It says that trustees shall invest and reinvest the principal and income. So things have, yeah, it would be.
I think Jim Powell, if Jim Powell is willing, I'd like for him to look at it, and him and Greg make a recommendation what to do with it.
I'd be glad to help, and I don't think you're going to have much choice. You're just going to have to find the cheapest one, I think.
Then I'll make a motion that if Jim and Greg recommend, after investigating, if they recommend First Farmers is the best choice, that they go ahead and trust it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor then for Jim Powell and Greg Townsend to look this over, to review these documents here on this account, and then if it's there, they come to the conclusion that First Farmers Bank is the best option for the county, then Greg goes ahead and starts that process. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
When you come to meetings, you get a job.
Haven't even been sworn in yet, have you?
I'm sure it's highly paid too.
Greg, did they mention to you a time frame for this? Because you said they wouldn't start
It's going to be an annual. I think it's an annual. That fee may start this year.
Probably should be done in December.
As soon as possible.
I'd say you can take care of it right away.
I will check the banks.
So that motion then
Allows them,
granted it to
that's
do
right,
happen.
correct.
To make the transfer.
After Jim reviews it with him, and if that is the recommendation, which we think it will be, that it will be transferred to First Farmers. Okay. Bob?
Three things for you. When you were talking about the claims from Elwood Publishing earlier, I didn't hear why we still have those.
I don't know why Jane had them, I don't know.
They were claims that, ads that were put in the Tribune that basically were of no value because they were not put in the time frame that they should have been. And so the council and commissioners asked that since that was incurred by the former auditor, that was her error that she paid them and she didn't. So we're doing that.
Okay.
Second one, I don't know if this was ever brought up in a meeting, but there's a really nice refinished desk up in the clerk's office, and I think the thank you needs to go to Phil, and 'cause I think you hauled it out to Sampson, didn't
I
you?
just hauled it. Jane doing it, had it refinished.
Well, I think you paid for it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I just think that's a really nice piece of furniture that probably wouldn't have been here otherwise. And the other thing I had was, can you tell us where we're at with the legal or what they're doing with, as far as the director office or?
I don't know, personally.
I don't know personally.
All I know, Bob, is that as of the weekend, there was no director. I have not hired anyone. So I was hopeful that maybe someone would come and thought maybe those two guys here this morning were going to talk to us about it, but no knowledge of it.
Okay.
Okay, what about this, guys? About from John?
That's about the fence and so forth or screening for the Bergman property that was agreed to when the county purchased. And I say we don't do anything with that today. I think that we should consider that when Joe comes on this board. And the purchase agreement, when the county bought the acreage off Kip Bergman, there was an agreement, or in the agreement, that the county's responsible up to $10,000 to pay for screening or fencing between the Trog property and Bergman. So Mike Lee was supposed to be the contractor to do that. I think we need to review that more. $10,000 doesn't buy a whole lot. It's sure not going to buy much fencing. And what's the purpose of the fencing and what type of screening?
Is there a copy of that agreement on record?
Yeah,
Greg's office?
Joe, it was in the 2008 agreement to do that, and so since it wasn't done, the attorney basically saying that we need to do it because it wasn't, the agreement was not fulfilled. And Greg, that contract that you copied out on the front of it, I mean, it says, and this is supposed to be taken out of edit funds.
Well, what John Brooks said was in this letter is that he was supposed to be contacted from Mark McCann, who is Kip Bergman's attorney. And he got a phone call from Mark, but he did not receive any email with the information on it. So he was waiting. So that's why I'm saying we don't do anything with it until after the first year. And then really, to me, someone needs to talk to Bergman to make sure that, okay, if this is going to happen 4 years ago, does he still want the same thing? And what are we going to, when we talk to Mike Lee, what can be done? What expectations were there? Larry?
Can you send me a copy of the contract electronically?
Yeah, Greg, you have it, right?
I think I do, yes.
And is the opinion privileged? If not, I'd like to have a copy of that.
Oh.
No, I would say you should have a copy of that.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not a problem.
Yeah, and he does pull out an excerpt of the contract right here that mentions it, that it's supposed to be the responsibility of the buyer. But yeah, I'm glad to
Larry?
make a copy for you before you leave.
Is this south of the woods or?
this starts on the north side of 28, basically at the head post, what I would call the head post, the line fence between the county and Bergman, and then runs north. Well,
Because once you get up, like at the woods area, then the 5-6 extension project affects, drainage and ditching and a whole lot of things in there north.
I'm assuming the purpose for this was the waste treatment plant. How are you going to screen against that? That's tall.
Yeah.
Are you going to put a screen fence that high? I don't think so. And if you're spending, if you only have $10,000, you're not going to get very far on a very tall screen fence for $10,000. And then the county has the responsibility of perpetual maintenance on it too.
Yeah, that's the part in here too, that the county always has to maintain it. Maybe he's gonna supplement it and do more, I don't know.
First I heard about it was that letter from John Brooks, and a great way you're looking it up for him an email. I'd like a hard copy.
Yeah, just send that to me too, Greg,
And I
because I don't have a copy
I
of it.
think we need to look at it and see if there's some changes.
Well, that's exactly right. I wouldn't forge ahead without talking to the other the adjacent landowner.
You're talking about the purchase agreement? I'm sure I have that. I think I have it on my desktop, on my computer.
All right.
The only reason I thought you guys might want to address it is that conduct goes to the funds. And you may have to take out of your pot next year. But if you don't want to, that's fine. That's okay. All right, well, Joe, I'm the only one here that has a copy of this, so before you leave, make sure you get that.
Anything else?
Anything else?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Okay, motion second on the floor to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.